Hi and welcome everyone. This is the first of a series of tutorials on developing Java web applications using JSPs and servlets. Um, this tutorial is aimed at someone who has previous experience developing Java applications, but they're new to web applications alone. So it assumes that you have a little bit of Java programming experience. The first tutorial, which is this one, starts off with setting up the development environment on your desktop, and it includes setting up the IDE, which I'm going to use as Eclipse, and also setting up the server, which is Tomcat. Installing these two, the Eclipse and Tomcat, is fairly straightforward. You just head over to the websites and download the latest versions. I am using Eclipse 3 and Tomcat 7 because those are the latest versions as of today. But you could, you could ideally download the newer versions if you have newer ones available and run through these tutorials. So what I suggest is downloading and extracting the two downloads into a folder called Java, and you don't really need to do anything else. Just extracting and running the files should do. So I have Eclipse and Tomcat both downloaded into this Java folder. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Eclipse directory and run the Eclipse executable. It's going to ask me for my workspace. I'm going to select the default. Okay, so here we have Eclipse open. The first thing we need to do is set up Tomcat inside of Eclipse so that it's easier for you to start and stop the server as well as deploy your code directly here. So in order to do that, you select the servers tab here and you right click and select new server. You have a set of predefined server adapters. We are installing Apache Tomcat, so we're going to expand the Apache node. And we have Tomcat version 7, so I'm going to select this. It's going to ask me for my Tomcat installation directory, so I'll say browse, go to my home directory, Java, Tomcat. I can select the JRE that I want because Tomcat needs just a JRE, it doesn't need a JDK to run. You can either go for the Workbench JRE, or if you have any other JDK installed on your machine, you can go for that. I would recommend going for the JDK that you've installed. Now, if you have any projects, it's going to ask you to configure them on the server. We haven't created any projects as of now, so this is blank. So you just say finish. So there you go, Tomcat is set up. You also see an entry in the Package Explorer tab here for the servers. It treats it as a project, and if you expand this, you see all the Tomcat related XML files. We will leave all these at the default. The first thing we're going to do is try starting the server here. So I just right click on it and click start. Notice the console tab. It gets selected by default, and you can see that the Tomcat logs are being displayed here. So then we see the last line of the log says the server startup in so many milliseconds. That means the Tomcat is up and running, as you can see here as well. So in order to test this, what we'll do is we'll open a browser window and access the default URL, which is localhost :8080. So there you can see Tomcat web page is up. Now, what does this localhost 8080 mean? Localhost actually means the domain name, which is actually the machine name on which the server is running. Since you're running it on your desktop and you're accessing it in the same machine, you can specify localhost, which stands for the same machine. 8080 is a default port that Tomcat uses in order to accept HTTP requests. So this can be changed actually. The default value for any web site is 80. If the value is 80, that means that you don't have to give the port number. But Tomcat uses the value of 8080, so you have to specifically mention 8080 here. But as I said, you can change this to some other port. So if you change it to 80, then just HTTP :/localhost should do. You should be able to get this page. So this page is actually the home page. As you can see here, this is a success message confirming that we have installed Tomcat successfully. You get the Tomcat version number here. You also have a few other links for managing the Tomcat instance. So we'll not worry about that for now. So we know that Tomcat is up and running fine. Now there are a few common problems that you'd face when you follow the steps here. The first problem, which is common, is that when you open Eclipse, you don't see a server tab sometimes. So to get the server tab, what you need to do is you need to go to the window menu and show view. So here are all the commonly used tabs. There are a few other tabs as well, so you click on other because you don't see the server tab here. So just go to other and search for servers. So you can click here and press OK, then you will get the tab. The other common problem which we face sometimes is when we are trying to test the Tomcat server. So you've started it here. You just hit right click and then you did a start. And then when you open the browser and you're trying to access localhost :8080, you might get a 404 page not found exception. That is again a common problem, and that if you're facing that, you need to follow these steps here. So right click and click on properties. So when you click on properties, you get the properties here. You have a location as workspace metadata. Click switch location. So you have the location as server/Tomcat server at localhost server. So what this means is that you're making the configuration over here, which is this one. So what I do is I right click here, go to properties. I'm sorry about that. I just double click on this. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. So I double click on this, and here you have the configuration. Make sure you have this option selected, use Tomcat installation. You might have this use workspace metadata option selected. Just make sure this option is selected and then press save or Control S. So what happens is, why we get this error is that if this option is selected, then it changes the value of some of the Catalina variables that Tomcat uses. The variable that has an impact here is the home folder, where Tomcat actually looks for what to render when somebody is making a HTTP request. So by default, it might take the Eclipse location, the Eclipse metadata location, which does not have the greeting page here. So that's the reason why you'll see a 404. But then if you use the Tomcat installation, which is the Java folder, which is this folder. So here you have web apps with predefined web pages. So when you access Tomcat, it will know what to serve, and it will serve this particular web page. So now we have Tomcat set up and up and running. In our next tutorial, we'll develop a simple web application.